Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode, I'm going to be recapping the Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time, which was released in February 2026. I'm recording this episode on the 6th of March 2026. So, before I spoil the events of the Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time, let's read the synopsises, and then I will show you the trailer as well. So, if you don't know what the Legacy of Time is, which I didn't because I've not listened to it, is as follows. Doctor Who The Legacy of Time told an epic story celebrating 20 years of Doctor Who at Big Finish, in which the 3rd to 8th Doctors, alongside many of their friends and enemies, dealt with the collapse of time itself. But during this adventure, where were the 1st and 2nd Doctors? We start off with The Kraken of Hagwell, written by Barbara Hamley. When a Welsh village is destroyed by a sea monster, UNIT is on the case as the mysterious serum spreads among soldiers. With the appearance of a doctor who's too young to know who he is, the Brigadier has to chase down the Master as he makes a play for conquest with the Sky Kraken. We then have The Heartless Sea, written by Simon Gurrier, as Harry and Naomi investigate the apparently haunted warehouse 9. They come across someone who they didn't expect to meet, the Doctor, but one who hasn't met them yet, and soon after they find themselves dealing with the wrath of the most furious sea there has ever been. This set was recorded quite a while ago on the 28th of July 2020, as well as the 25th and 26th of October 2022, and we've got a few quotes here. Producer Dominic G. Martin said, "The Legacy of Time was a wonderful celebration of Big Finish Doctor 2, but there was a question that we wanted to answer. Just what were the 1st and 2nd Doctors doing on the lead up to their appearance in that special? These two adventures answer that, featuring Stephen Noonan and Michael Charlton's wonderful portrayals of these Doctors and told in a natural Companion Chronicles style from the perspective of companions you wouldn't necessarily expect to see them with." Barbara Hamley has given us a wonderful story putting the Brigadier and the 1st Doctor against the Master and his pet Kraken. And Simon Gurrier has written a captivating, mind-bending tale as the 2nd Doctor team up with Harriet Sullivan and Naomi Cross. These extraordinary little tales fit perfectly as a bonus addition to the Legacy of Time, and it's a thrill to share them with you. Writer Barbara Hamley, an acclaimed science fiction novelist who makes her Doctor Who debut with this set, added, "I always loved the UNIT stories. It was almost like a separate series for Pertwee's first 2 years. The Australian time and space traveller stuck on Earth, working for the everything in triplicate military, and yet the spit and polish Brigadier was never where am I up to? Was never a caricature. None of the UNIT gang were. Since first I saw Doctor Who back in 1982, I wanted to write a Who story, and when they asked me which companion I wanted to do, a UNIT story was my choice, just like the 1970 70s, I think that's meant to say, but with better special effects. In The Kraken of Hagwell, John Coleshaw narrates the story as the Brigadier later in his life, whilst also providing the voices of both the Master and a younger version of the Brigadier. Coleshaw said, "I really enjoyed the format of this script, the audiobook sense of the narration, how it then goes to the clips of the action. With me and Genevieve and Stephen have been acting together. Full cast scenes. I lost my place. I got confused. That's why I'm playing the Master and the Brigadier on the same page a lot of the time. Thankfully, with the Brigadier and the iconic Roger Delgado Master, the two voices are so distinctive and very different that one little pause, just a little gear change, will get you there." On reprising the role of Harry Sullivan for The Heartless Sea, Christopher Naylor said, "I really love this script. It's very claustrophobic and intense, very tightly focused on those characters. It's a real thrill, this one. I loved working with Ellie Crooks, who we have a lovely rapport, and I just think Michael Charlton is brilliant. He captures his father's performance so well, and it's so well written that people really get a very strong 2nd Doctor vibe from this. This set includes Stephen Noonan as the 1st Doctor, John Coleshaw as Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, the Master, and Professor Cowan, Genevieve Gaunt as Margot Parnage and the Sky Kraken, Michael Charlton as the 2nd Doctor, Christopher Naylor as Harry Sullivan, and Eleanor Crooks as Naomi Cross." So before I spoil the events of the Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time, here's the trailer.
You get used to it. That sudden sinking feeling as everything you know turns out to be wrong. There are aliens living among us. We can travel in time. Now, there are invisible giants.
say, is someone there? Anyone? I seem to have got myself into a most unfortunate fix.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time.
Of course, all hell had to break loose on the day the Doctor and Miss Grant had gone picnicking on Mars.
The last appearance of the Hagwell Kraken, as it's called, was in 856 AD, spreading death and destruction in its wake.
Who are you? And where am I?
Unit headquarters, Doctor. On Earth, in England. I am Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, commander of unit.
How do you know me? I never forget a face, young man. And I've never seen yours before in my life.
This place has a reputation. Ask anyone in unit.
I'm in unit, but I did hear something a while ago. Isn't it meant to be haunted or something?
There's no such thing as ghosts.
Oh, really? Then what do you suppose this is?
The creature that destroyed Hagwell is very real. According to this Dr. Pennage, it will strike again soon.
Why would he change back to how he used to look?
I'm not sure that's how it works. No, it's him before we met him.
I have already told you, Brigadier. Don't trust them. They're hiding something.
You thought I was hiding something. I suspect that you still do.
I didn't do you any.
Ah! Harry!
What's he doing to him?
I'm not sure. But keep back, or it will get you too.
Tell me, Dr. Pennage, has this Kraken ever actually killed anyone?
Other than your scientific advising.
This has gone far enough. We offered you friendship, and now you're hurting my friend. You will let him go this instant.
No! It's on fire! Oh, the whole of the sea is on fire!
Naomi! Have to find Naomi!
I'm sorry, Harry. I think she's gone. Is this another of your pitiful schemes? Snatching power wherever you can? Hey?
My dear Doctor, without power one is nothing. You. How many people have lost their lives because you did not have the power to save them?
And how many lives have you ever saved?
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the trailer for The Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time, which was released in February in 2026. And you got a lot of context in that trailer, which I'm about to get into. And then this episode, especially this episode, will contain huge spoilers because there's an entire cast member that isn't on the cast list, which I will get into, which was a nice surprise. So before I get into that, we're going to start off with The Kraken of Hagwell, written by Barbara Hamley. So this story is the first Doctor, Brigadier and Master story, which kind of is interesting because obviously in the TV timeline of Doctor Who, the first Doctor has no idea who the Brigadier is, and still doesn't by this, but obviously the first Doctor and the Brigadier have previously met in a Big Finish audio, which may have been recorded after this but released before that, being the Lost Stories Death World, which kind of is what would have happened if the Doctor Who 10th anniversary special featured more of the first Doctor and Stephen Noonan, not Stephen Noonan, William Hartnell was well enough to play a full part basically. But yeah, it is kind of interesting, kind of exploring more of that of what the first Doctor, the Brigadier's dynamic would be, because obviously the Brigadier meets most of the classic Doctors, similar to how his daughter Kate Lethbridge Stewart has now met most of the new series Doctors. But yeah, kind of the Kraken of Hagwell is kind of it's got a Kraken in it as well, and the Master kind of is kind of in the background for most of it, and kind of you heard a bit of it in that trailer there. When the first Doctor and the Master meet, it kind of is. You don't get many of those scenes, but they are quite confrontational, because we've never a similar thing with the Brigadier. Like the first Doctor, the Master wasn't introduced till the third Doctor, really. So it is interesting to hear what would happen if the first Doctor went off against the Master, which obviously most of the subsequent Doctors have. So yeah, But the surprise at the end of this episode is David Tennant's 10th Doctor appears, which then kind of makes sense why it was recorded the July 2020 date and the I think it was October, wasn't it? Yeah, October 2022 date, because it was recorded during lockdown. David Tennant's scene as the 10th Doctor. So yeah, that was a nice surprise, because I heard it. I was like, is that David Tennant's 10th Doctor? It was a bit like, yeah, it was a bit, wait a minute, and then kind of you realise that it is, because in the credits of the episode, at the end of the episode, Big Finish released the credits and kind of starring David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. It's like, wait a minute, wow. That was a nice surprise. Then we move on to The Heartless Sea, written by Simon Gurrier, which is the second Doctor Harry and Naomi story. Now, I'm very familiar with all three of these main characters. Obviously, the second Doctor from the Second Doctor Adventures, which I talked about previously, as well as Harry and Naomi meeting the fourth Doctor, the seventh Doctor. The fourth Doctor being the one that I know the most of, because I've listened to all of their adventures with the fourth Doctor. With the seventh Doctor, I listened to their final box set with the seventh Doctor, that being Passed Forward, which I talked about in a previous episode, and as well as them kind of being part of the unit sets previously as well. So I was very familiar with them, and it was kind of interesting because Harry and Naomi don't just have one Doctor that they're familiar with; they have two, and kind of within the episode they try to understand kind of when they realise that it's the Doctor, they're like, how? And then Harry, you heard it in the trailer there, Harry works it out that kind of it's Harry works out why it's happened, and then Harry and Naomi get separated for a lot of the story as well. But yeah, kind of it ends. This is kind of a multi-Doctor story, because not only does David Tennant's 10th Doctor appear at the end of The Heartless Sea, Stephen Noonan's first Doctor also appears, so it is kind of nice to have a first and second Doctor multi-Doctor story, because obviously we only got they've not done any of the new series, so it was quite nice to have that. But yeah, kind of it was. So if you're a fan of the first or second Doctor, I would suggest you pick up this release, as well as if you're a fan of the Brigadier or Harry and Naomi. The 10th Doctor, because the 10th Doctor isn't in it too much. If that's the only reason you're getting it, maybe go for one of the release in the 10th Doctor Adventures, which I have talked about in previous episodes, so go check those out if you haven't already. Without further ado, let me know what you thought of the Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time. If you've listened to it, my recap, if you didn't, and without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.